You ran around with an openly gay man as your BFF, taking him to games and sitting courtside
Here we
with
go.
your gay stylist, hopping in and out of cars with purses and dressed in a flamboyant way,
Damn, come on,
and you're
man.
wondering now that uh, you can't make people money, or they can't chase internet traction off of you. You're wondering why people have stepped away. They should have stepped away, or they should have been warning you when you were running around with your gay stylist sitting courtside.
Jason Whitlock talks about Shannon Sharpe not having any real friends. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Uh, Luke, I want to play this clip from Shannon Sharpe that I found fascinating. He's talking about how people have stepped away from him, given him some distance and some space. Now that he's on the other side of being super successful, let's play the.
I don't want y'all to have the wrong impression, but I'm just very guarded now. I'm very, very guarded. I was always on alert, but I'm on high alert because I really don't know who I can really trust. Because what I've seen over the last 6 months, there are very few people that you can actually trust.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember we had this conversation, Ocho, about being down and then people feel like they can pile on.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what was going to happen. I appreciate you, Ocho, because you're like, hey, when you text me, Unc, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Whatever we got to go through, we going through it. You ain't by yourself.
Hey, till the wheels fall off. You gave me
Boy,
the opportunity. Where the hell
there are so many people, Ocho and Joe,
where I'm going.
that used to call, that used to text.
Yeah.
I ain't heard from them since this happened.
But that's all right, though.
What I don't wish this on anybody. But what it did do is it really showed me who's really, really there.
Right.
There are a lot of people on the peripheral. When things were going well, when we're at the apex and getting invited to everything.
Yeah.
I'm talking about ain't called. Ain't called. And I'm talking about we were talking once a month, twice a month.
Right.
I've been down before. This public lashing and ridicule and scorn and humiliation.
Been there.
Take your lumps. But it took me a while to realize, like, hold on. You call the people that you're closest to. Brother, mom, sister, kids, best friend, Bucket Burns. You explain to them what? They say, bro, we good. Once I got to that, Ocho, you and I talked about this. Man, look, it is what it is. I'm gonna be all right.
I ain't even want to hear it. We good.
Sunshine follows rain.
What time?
Yeah, I don't know why Shannon Sharpe, he's in his feelings. Sounds like you had a lot of industry friends that when you were on the height of heights, things are going good. Allegedly had $100 million media podcast deal you were working on, and then all of a sudden, those allegations came about. Lost your job at ESPN, lost a lot of sponsors and brand deals. Looks like he's starting to get those back. But so Shannon Sharpe pretty much proved that the people that he thought that were his friends really just people that were there because he was getting a lot of clicks and views. The Cat Williams interview that really took him to that next level in the podcast media world. Once that kind of fades away, and then you got these allegations, and then things ain't really moving like how they used to, people ain't gonna hit you up. You're no use to them anymore. So he's in his feelings, obviously. Yeah, he got finesse, but he put himself in this situation and he has to live with it.
Shannon, here's what I would say. You have your feet in both worlds. I don't even know if I would call it lukewarm, but it's when you're trying to live in both worlds, you're shocked and surprised that, like, oh, a lot of the people that pretended to be your friends aren't your friends. And that's the lesson you're learning here is like, hey, they loved me when I was hot. Uh, I I hate to make this reference, but I will. But some rap friends of mine from Kansas City, Scatterman and Snug Brim, they love you when you're up. They hate you when you're down. Or I can't remember the song, but it's one of them secular rap songs. It's I can't believe Shannon at his age is surprised that people have backed away from him given the controversies he's been involved in.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Shannon Sharpe's what, 57, 58? This is stuff you should already knew about when you were coming up in the NFL. Think about where you came from. A lot of people from your area don't make it to the NFL. Believe he was a seventh round draft pick. So at the end of the day, you've seen how people acted towards you before you made it to the league, and think about how people changed when you were in the league. So did he forget about the early days of him coming up in the game, football? It pretty much translated over to the podcast media world. You were the hottest person on the market once upon a time, and then now you're just a solid content creator. You're going to put out some good sports content. You're going to have some good interviews, but you don't have that major backing like you did months ago with ESPN and Fox at the time. So Shannon got to stop putting himself in these crazy situations. You had everything working for you, but the people that you network with, the people that you meet, again, everyone has some type of bad intentions. That's how you got to kind of look at it. You got to be guarded like he said, but he talk a lot of talk, but he ain't really backing it up. So Shannon, you dropped the ball. Don't be surprised when people ain't hitting your phone no more. If you ain't getting the clicks and the views you were getting before all the allegations, you're useless to these people. Those were industry friends.
They were never your friends, and you should have never saw them as your friends. They were people that wanted to ride your coattails of secular success. And now that those coattails have been clipped, they don't want any parts of you. There should be no surprise here, Shannon. This is what life and a world removed from Jesus Christ, this is what it is. You put your faith and trust in Jesus, and then you're not surprised when the world turns on you when you get in trouble. And so Shannon, if you notice in that clip, he's wearing a chain that has a cross on it. But the T-shirt he has on is the Joker. He's got his feet in both worlds. He's confused. And so therefore he's surprised by how the world reacts when they have no financial gain, no popularity, they can't clout chase off you. There's no benefit to being Shannon Sharpe's friends. And so he's surprised and talking about haven't called. Well, what did you expect?
Again, yeah, what did you expect, Shannon? You really thought during your wave when you were at the height of all heights, you really thought these people were rocking with you? Even Stephen A. Smith, he kind of shouted him out, like he reached out to him, see how he was doing. That's cool only because you still got Nightcap, you still got Club Shay Shay, you still have a media presence, but you're kind of back to where you started from months ago and years ago when you first started Nightcap and Club Shay Shay. Still a solid podcast, still solid media and content, but you don't have that major backing like you did once upon a time months ago with ESPN and Fox. So again, Shannon, he may have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I know Whitlock, he's going to break it down to a different type of level, but surface level, Shannon Sharpe, you knew better. You dropped the ball. You got finessed by some random chick that you met at a gym. You thought everything was cool. You weren't being recorded. And then all of a sudden, your dirty laundry got aired out and it got finessed into a lawsuit. So again, people don't really want to be attached to people that have these allegations. And at the end of the day, once you lost that huge media presence, you can't be surprised that people weren't calling your phone anymore.
Were they calling before you had that super successful run? It's the whole conversation seems a bit immature for people as mature or as old as Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco and I think that was Joe Johnson, the former NBA player. And I'm not saying this to scold these guys, but I'm saying like, put your faith in something more sturdy than your financial success, than your YouTube success. It's not surprising that Shannon, when you've been exposed as someone that like maybe harasses women, in a serial fashion. You've had these problems. You seem to involve yourself with super young women and give them access and the ability to harm you. You ran around with an openly gay man as your BFF, taking him to games and sitting courtside
Here we
with
go.
your gay stylist, hopping in and out of cars with purses and dressed in a flamboyant way.
Damn, come on,
And you're
man.
wondering now that, you can't make people money, or they can't chase internet traction off of you. You're wondering why people have stepped away.
Again, man, I know that was a lot there with Whitlock. And again, Shannon, he's been in the mix as far as, allegations. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, he's all over the place right now. And he got to be mindful. You got to be careful out there. You got a lot more to lose than these people that you're in networks with. Yeah, some random chick, she may seem cool at the moment. But again, you got to understand, you may always be recorded. You may always be a finesse, a lick. That's what they call it. You just a walking lick out there. You're known as that guy that people can finesse, and that's what happened with Shannon Sharpe. You would think he been in the game for a minute, 57, 58 years old. You've been in the mix. You should have been known what was going on since like the 90s during the height of your NFL career, winning those championships. So for him to be finding out stuff like this, close to 60 years old, is he naive, or is he trying to play the victim role like, hey, I see people ain't out there calling me like they used to, and he's in his feelings right now. But Shannon, you got to understand that people don't care what you're going through. If they can't make money with you, if you don't have any high standing like you did previously, there's no need to call you anymore. You're useless.
Of course, they should have stepped away, or they should have been warning you when you were running around with your gay stylist sitting courtside. They should have been warning you when multiple women have made accusations about your misbehavior. They should have been warning you when, you gave this young girl and whoever's controlling her. And I don't want to disparage a young lady because I don't know her, but there are those of us with enough worldly knowledge that would say, like, that sounds like a pimp and a hoe situation. And those words sound super negative, but and they are super negative, but it just sounds like she had some man that had controls over her and was actually advising her. Or maybe she had an older woman that was advising her on how to bilk you out of that money.
Again, I don't know if people were kind of, warning Shannon like, hey, be careful. You had a lot of stuff allegedly going on behind the scenes and in your past, and you don't want those things to come to fruition. Like, you know what? When you're at the height of your career, all it takes is the right one, not the wrong one, to run some type of game and put you in a situation, put you in a trick bag. So I don't know if his accuser has somebody over her, like the stuff that Whitlock was talking about, like, hey, you may want to do this, you may want to do that, but either way, she found the right legal representation at the perfect time. She met the right person to find a finesse, and, allegedly she got a lot of money from Shannon Sharpe. So again, Shannon, you got to stop hitting your head. You got to learn your lessons, because you can't take another L like this. It could be over the next time.